Boxing, a controversial sport to say the least, and yet still one of my very favorites to this day. From playing Punch-Out as a kid to watching all of the UFC fights, boxing's always been something that really inspired and intrigued me, and George Marikawa, the Hajime no Ippo mangaka, has brought us one of the finest series that I've ever witnessed, being over 1,000 chapters long as of December of 2012. This series has touched my heart in many different ways. And without further ado, let's get into why I love Hajime no Ippo. Taking place in the 80s, Hajime no Ippo is honestly one of the most slept-on anime of all time. There's no superpowers, no different devil fruits, no Super Saiyans, and that's just fine with me. This anime is grounded in realism for the most part. Well, aside from that one time Mashiba turned into Stretch Armstrong. But aside from that, this anime is so beautiful, it's so well written, and you only need to read a few chapters to figure out why. Between all of the flicker jabs, cross blocks, dodging, countering, and more, this anime is absolutely beautiful. Starting off with our protagonist, Ippo Makanauchi. He's a very shy, quiet protagonist, and one that I've grown to love over the years. You would think some of his attributes, fighting in the boxing ring, one of the most competitive sports of all time, would be a detriment to him, but he grows to have a championship mentality. When we first see Ippo in the series, he's at his very worst. He's getting bullied and beaten up every single day at school, and through time and training becomes one of the most motivational fighters of all time. Ippo doesn't have any innate talent at the start of his journey. In fact, he really didn't even know how to throw a punch. We slowly watch Ippo train and build up his moveset and techniques, and every victory he has is so damn rewarding. But what Ippo lacks in talent, he makes up for in passion, as he strains and trains every day to become a better boxer and version of himself. We see Ippo throughout the series push past his limitations, and we get to observe his character develop. Through each win and loss, Ippo never fails to learn and always grows from each experience, no matter how hard they are. Now for the real masterpiece of the series, the boxing matches themselves. Each separate boxing match works as its own narrative structure, and we get to see how our favorite characters develop and train throughout each arc. Some of the most notable fights are Swarma, Dante, Sendo, Vorg, Miata, Mashiba, and many more. All of these characters and competitors are extremely well written, and all of them have their own reasons for why they fight and who they are in the series. In particular, Eiji Dante is one of the best written characters in the entire series. He had a title match against Ricardo Martinez where he was severely outclassed and knocked out, and faced retirement from his boxing career. It's needless to say that all of the fights in the series are an absolute masterpiece. The movements and the animation are flawless, and the audio and the music that accompanies the scenes make everything all the better. My words can't do these scenes justice, so instead of me talking about it, let's listen to it together.
流血拳が左拳は死んだよだがなもう一つあるぜ体が折れたあのが狙われるまずいまずいまずいゲストガード来ないなぜだなぜ来ない人はまたボディだと
Absolutely one of my favorite scenes in all of the anime. And can I just say, I want to get to the point where my movements, when I punch, it sounds like a jet plane too? You know, because I think the ladies would like those jet plane sounds if I was able to do that. But no, all jokes aside, an amazing scene from an amazing anime. Another aspect of the series that's widely overlooked is how injuries are handled. In many other popular shonen series, a fatal injury, whether it be a stab wound or a laser beam to the chest, can be easily dealt with by simply either drinking milk or even eating a senzu bean. And I mean, obviously we all wish that Ippo could eat a senzu bean, I think we all do in real life, but however, Hajime no Ippo isn't so lucky, and the medical issues that are dealt with in these series are a lot more serious. We see Ippo and some of the other secondary characters in the show, like Aoki, Kimura, and Takamura, have to literally put their lives on the line as they go out there into the ring, where they face different factors such as weight management, even detached retinas, and possible brain damage. Their lifespans could be shortened every single time that they hop into the boxing ring. Another thing that's made the show absolutely endearing for me is Ippo's dynamic with his fellow gym mates. Each and every character is in their own separate weight class, so their boxing goals aren't exactly affected by one another, and they're not in direct competition. Starting off, we have the duo of Aoki and Kamura. They've been boxing for far longer than Ippo, however their win-loss ratio isn't as great as Ippo's is. And we see both of them struggle in the series as they face the threat of being overshadowed and forgotten by both Ippo and Takamura. Aoki and Kamura, while not the most talented boxers, are extremely strong in their own right, and they work very hard throughout the series and are dedicated to becoming professional boxers. It's very endearing to see their ultimate dream of achieving the Japanese title, and starting off from their backgrounds as street hoodlums. Up next, we have the driving force behind the gym, Coach Kamagawa himself. I always find it particularly satisfying watching him whip all the boxers into shape. Coach has been long retired since the series starts, but after founding the gym, he takes on the main role as a trainer of his students. What I really appreciate is his relationship with Takamura in particular. The two share a very close bond, and it's clear to see that Takamura's character progression in the series is mainly thanks to the Chief. We get to explore this very touching scene between Coach Kamagawa and Takamura before Takamura's world title match against Brian Hawk. Kamagawa had trained Takamura in boxing ever since the beginning, and in this scene here, we have Kamagawa actually apologize to Takamura, saying that he wished he could have taken him to a world title sooner, but he didn't have any of the influence or the money to make it happen. And I have to be entirely honest, I actually teared up the first time I watched this scene. All of the tension between Takamura and his weight management, and everything else that he was dealing with before his championship match. And just this scene right here brought so many emotions to me. I don't want to spoil anything for this arc, but you should go watch this. Now, onto my favorite character, a man among men, the Lord of the Perverts himself, Takamura. And where do I even start with this masterpiece of a character? He generally comes off as overconfident, cocky, and full of himself, but despite his ego, it's shown that he deeply cares about his juniors very much. Takamura introduced Ippo, Kamura, and Aoki all into boxing, bettering all of their lives in the process. And although they would never admit it, the three of them really look up to him. Takamura is easily one of the most gifted boxers we've been able to see in the entire series, as he easily steamrolls through all of his opponents up until he reaches his world title match. And no, I don't want to have any spoilers in here, but if I did not mention this, I would be deliberately disrespecting Takamura's greatness and his character. So without further ado, this is going to be spoiler territory, so if you don't want to hear this, skip 2 minutes ahead. So during the training camp, Takamura was training in the mountains at this point, and he was doing his morning road work, and all of a sudden a massive bear came out. And what proceeded to happen? This man exchanged punches with a bear. Yes, you heard me correctly. He actually fought a bear, okay? And then afterwards, he managed to beat this bear. And not only did he beat the bear, but afterwards, he ate it. And then he mourned for its loss. Okay? I mean, this is just... Takamura is not a man. He is the man. I cannot even express how insane this is. I mean, how much testosterone can you have in one scene? It hits all of the emotional, check boxes. I don't even know what to say, except this anime is a must-watch. And as if this anime wasn't great enough already, most of the scenes are comedy gold. These friendships will never be boring in this anime, and half of the time have me rolling on the ground laughing. Each episode has so many different gems of comedy in between them, like Big Mara Ippo, for example. But in all seriousness, whenever I'm down, I can always come back to some of these episodes and cheer myself up. The comedy is unbelievably funny, and I promise you it will not disappoint. So, overall, what's the takeaway? What do we gain from Hajime no Ippo? To say that this anime is simply about boxing would not do it justice. I can see a reflection of myself in Ippo in many ways, being bullied at a young age, trying to push past your limitations to awaken your dreams and become something more in life. We share a connection with all of these characters as we watch them develop and grow on their different and unique journeys. Throughout all the struggles and hardships in this show, we get to see the creation of many friendships, so many dreams being realized. This anime will make you cry. This anime will have you on your ass laughing. And honestly, this anime was one of the best that I've ever seen in my whole life. In closing, it's only fair that I say this. George Morikawa, thank you. Thank you for creating something that I hold so dear to my heart to this very day. This anime is one of my favorites, and I would really like all of you to watch it or read the manga as well. Alright everybody, this has been Nelly here. I hope you all enjoyed the video. This is an anime that's very meaningful to me. I hope you guys all get the chance to check it out as well. If you liked the video, maybe give it a like. I only have 1 subscriber. So, you know, not like anybody's really going to be watching this, but, you know, if you happen to see the video, maybe drop a like if you want to, if you enjoyed it anyway, and subscribe if you feel like it, you know, if not, no worries, and please comment below, let me know what you think of Hajime no Ippo as a series, one of my very favorites, so I would love it if you like and subscribed, and I will see you on the next time.